What is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome to Off the Bench. I am Mark Wiggins, and we are here tonight to have a conversation. If you saw the flyer, I have my good friend Michelle Ayala-Rivera Consuelo Santiago on this evening, and we are going to be covering a bunch of issues and just having a good conversation. So hopefully you are logging in right now. Please ask that you share because I'm doing the most right now. Yeah, go ahead and share this out to your tribe and let everybody know that we're on. And we're going to do a couple of things before we get live and talk about it. Again, this is Off the Bench Magazine, where we feature people who have been in the magazine or in the magazine or I find highly interesting and want to talk to. So make sure we get that. Also, make sure you subscribe to the magazine. Go to offthebenchmagazine.com. People, the things that have been happening right now for the magazine are amazing, including what we're going to talk about tonight. But I got a lot of stuff coming down the road. Tomorrow night's show, we have King Conversation, where I have a special guest on tomorrow. We're going to chop it up on a couple of things, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I got something to say on it, and if you don't know what it is, just go hit Twitter, and you'll figure out what I'm talking about. So again, make sure you subscribe to the magazine. Also, talking about the King Conversation Book Project 2022. If you know of a king or a king, you're watching this and you have something to say, I'm looking for positive information and concepts and context for my book. 1,000 words is the max. It's a free project to get into. We are collecting emails right now and contacting people for this book project, which I plan to release in June. So time is ticking down, but contact me, hit me on inbox or email me or hit me on IG at OTB Magazine to let me know you're interested, and we'll send information to you. This is only for men, but ladies, if you know a guy that's a speaker or got something to say, or is a good dude, a good mentor, always got a positive message, a coach or something out there, get him in on this project, because with this project, we'll be doing some other things like how to get your message together, how to market a book, how to start your speaking career if that's something you're looking to do. That's all going to be part of the training for this book, for people getting in the book. A lot of people don't do what I do. They don't speak. They just want to get their message out. So make sure you get that together, and we're going to have that project coming off in June. Anything else want to add? I think that's it. Coming to the stage right now. I need some music playing. Coming to the stage right now, it's Michelle Ayala-Rivera, Montego Consuelo Santiago, Puerto Rico. How are you, Michelle?
I am doing well. How are you?
Girl, I'm doing well. Just doing our thing. This the second of the Home and Home series. People don't know what a Home and Home is. I was on her show about 2 weeks ago, and now she's on my show. So it's now my turn to go at Michelle on some topics and some questions. What have you been up to, girl? What's you been happening? What's been happening with you?
Oh my goodness. Oh, life has been going on. A whole lot of life. Processing, growing my team, putting trainings together, working on a My Brown is Beautiful campaign, working with graphic designers and all sorts of things. So lots of little things, lots of big things, really helping people walk through their health journey. It's just been so much, in addition to being a wife and a mama and which is also like a cook and a house cleaner and a doctor and everything else.
Right. Girl, you've been doing the most. You've been doing the most. So, Michelle, as you on my shows, my platform, I don't do bios. Now, I could talk about you for the next 45 minutes, but it's always more important for me for people to hear directly from the person about who they are and what they want to know. So, why don't you take the next few minutes and just let us know who you are and how dope you are.
Okay, well, no, super quick background leading up to now. I am, as Mark so eloquently put, with Consuelo Rodriguez Santos, Santiago, everything else. My name is actually, for English speakers, Michelle Ayala-Rivera. But my name is actually Michelle Ayala-Rivera. And I am a New Yorican from the Bronx. I am from the Bronx, from the projects in the Bronx. BX baby. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. I absolutely loved it and I have been on a whole journey, have a degree, and it really, really helps me to hang pictures straight and to organize things. And it gets my foot in the door with conversations with people. And I went from becoming an engineer. I worked at Militia and Construction. I was a lead abatement supervisor in Savannah, Georgia. Worked there and then realized that I loved engineering, but it wasn't my passion. And so I moved into teaching, and I loved teaching. And literally, like I wanted to transition slowly into teaching. So the day that I started teaching, I came in to be a teaching assistant. I left engineering to become a teacher, and the teacher left teaching to become an engineer. So it was baptism by fire, and I loved it. I love those high pressure situations. So I taught in Texas, Georgia, and New Jersey, and then had a health crisis happen where they accidentally discovered a tumor that I had, and I had to it was a major league surgery. I was out of commission for a year, and I was always telling my students, find something you're passionate about and make somebody pay you to do it. And I realized I needed to take my own advice. And that's when I stumbled onto Make an Account, where we met, and became part of a phenomenal organization. Ended up becoming a trainer and working with 250 of the top motivational speakers in the nation, which is that's a life-changing thing. Like I always tell people, like, you ever been surrounded by motivational speakers? Like you want to eat the crap out of your Cheerios. Like you're sitting there like, I got this. Like you can't leave with that. Like, you just can't. So I did that for a while, and I was traveling 30 days at a time. And then my husband and I have been married at that time. We were together like 13 years. They told us that we couldn't have kids, and then we just started having babies. And it was like random and miraculous and back to back to back to back. And took a step back and to be a mama, and I absolutely love it. I have 4 beautiful babies now. They are 9, 7, and 5, and 11. Yeah. And then I realized it was time. Like I just needed to do something for myself. And a lot of times what happens with women, especially women of color, like, especially Latinas, we become like, that is our identity. You are a wife, you have a life, and then you get married, and then you're a wife. And then when you become a mother, you are a wife and a mother. And that is it. And it's almost like this unspoken rule that all the rest of your identity ceases to exist. And so I found myself at this pivotal moment, and I was like, my existence had become about my contribution and not my humanity. It's like, who am I? Who am I? Besides a wife and a mama and a milk truck and all this other stuff, like, who am I? And so I decided I needed to do something radical that was just for me, that was just the stuff that I loved. And so I signed up for a Spartan run, which is like the same thing that you can do when you have no time to even pee, let alone train. So I did it. I ran my Spartan. I jumped that fire. I got my stuff. And I, in the interim, just discovered this brand new passion for health and wellness that I never thought I would do. Just stumbled into it, and really have enjoyed the challenge of inspiring people to have the audacity to change their narrative, and really tackling a lot of things in my community, in the larger Black and Brown community, with respect to health and wellness, and just all of the, as I've been learning more, I'm back in school to become a functional medicine nutritionist, and my eyes have just been open to just a lot of the behavioral, emotional things that are tied into health. So that's what I'm doing now. And I love Jesus.
All right. All right. And that's our show for tonight. We just thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
That's it. So you ain't just like, I'm over taking notes. Whatever. So first of all, the fun fact is I didn't know that you are an engineer or engineer. So you said you're an engineer.
Yep.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that. The teacher part I think I knew, but I didn't know about the engineer. And like I said, we met back in '64, and and it was this. Again? So let me ask the question. So how did you find out about Making It Count? Everybody has their story about how they got there. How did you get to MIC?
I literally found myself. I was out of work for a year. Like that was literally the recovery time, minimum a year, because of this major surgery that I had had. And which is also a reason why my kids are miracle kids. But I was like, I need to do something, and I don't want to go back into engineering because I loved it, but it wasn't my passion. And I didn't want to go back into teaching because I was more interested in student development than I was in standardized testing. And I'm like, I just want to. So I had always been speaking on the side. I had always been doing that for, like, at that point, it had been about, my gosh, like 10 years I had been speaking and little things here and there. And I'm like, man, I wish I could just do something like that. And I literally prayed. And this was back in the day, like when you were just on like job searches and stuff. And I think it was like monster.com. And I'm looking and I'm like, man, I just want, and I looked at this, I think I put in for speakers, really, and or trainers. And here pops up this job description, and it's like, the wording was, of course, super attractive. And it's, do you like motivating people? Are you more interested in student development? Are you, I mean, the last line was just about, is your name Michelle Ayala-Rivera? And I'm like, yes, yes, it
is. Do you like Mentos?
Right. Right. And so I was like, I'm going to do this. I had no idea. It was pretty much hell week for the Marines. Like, that's what we go through to get into this program. Like, this program was no joke. Like, it's super fun and amazing when you get to the other side of it. But good Lord, getting there, it's like that uphill battle with a book bag full of wet sand like you are carrying. And it was like boot camp for real. Like, you don't sleep for 4 days, but it was absolutely invigorating and amazing and phenomenal. And the benefits were, man, like infinite.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I liken it to, I don't know, Hell Week when I was pledging. Like, this is insane. It's just nonstop, and the pressure that was there, because you came in and you were one of those teachers that everybody talked about. I can't stand her Latin tail. She's just always trying to make us. No, I can't do it in Spanish. I'm not doing it. Not certified. That was like death. If you couldn't hang out that night and couldn't certify, it was death, because you had to go to trainings, you had to do whatever. But when you get, like you said, when you get together with 250 of your closest friends who know exactly what you're supposed to say, which page, which paragraph, which exercise, and you have to deliver, and they're like, you left the word out. Ooh, Lord, that ain't gonna go well for them. Remedial training.
Yes, because you're in a room, like in your circle, in your little fishbowl, you it, like you rocking it, and then you come in with like 1,000 Zig Ziglars and Tony Robbins, and you go up there, and it's like, because I just want to speak. I do good. I talk good, and I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, all of a sudden, it's like,
Michelle, it should have been a reality show. We would still be speaking on a reality show. It was a precursor to She Got Talent, put the mask on, the mask speaker, Big Brother, all the gangsters. I mean, it's just nonstop. Like I put in the right, it's amazing what people will do for $100. It's absolutely phenomenal what you will do and where you will drive for $100.
Yes, and what you would be subjected to, and what you will take, what kind of nonsense, and it's
like shenanigans.
Oh my goodness. And last minute, like, we don't got this, we don't got that. And it's like, dance, go up there and dance. And you're like, yeah, absolutely.
And don't forget those feedback forms. Yeah. So we were just right, with some tens, and my name is Mark. Hey, that's where people ask me where my speaker name came from. It actually came from, I was in DC at one of the schools in DC. I can't remember which one, but there's the one where they were glad to see a black man walk through the door. That school. And so I'm up on stage. I'm doing some little exercise or whatever. I said, y'all got any question? Hey, speaker man, I got a question. I said, what did you say? I said, hey, speaker man. I said, oh, that's funny. I'm snatching it. And I became the speaker man that very day, from some little girl being a smart mouth calling me the speaker man. And I said, that works for me. So I think I maybe gave her an extra stack of Mentos that day. I gave her some Mentos, and she was my friend forever. But that's the time where, again, people ask, where do we learn how to speak? Did you do Toastmasters? Hey, if you need to, go for it. This right here, was the epitome of training. I mean, the people
Yeah.
that have come out of this, Rodney, Lonnie, Brooks, I mean,
Yeah.
just go on and on and on about people who are still doing it. And it's been what, 15, 16 years now. Um,
Has it
that's where
been
I,
that?
I get the base of my training from. It's been a bit, I lost because I came to
You and I were
MIC
in the
right
same
after.
class. You and
Yeah,
I
I
were in
came
the
in right
same.
at when you yep,
Yep.
because you came in, you were dealing with health issues. I was dealing with a lost business and trying to recover. That's where I
Mm-hmm.
came in. So it was
Mm-hmm.
around 4 or 5, no, before 90,
No, it was like
no,
no, it was like
2002,
2006.
six,
2006.
six. Yeah, it was after all of that. Yes, 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 yes. I
Yeah,
lost the business after
2006.
9/11. Read a book. I got a story about it. But yes, it was in that time frame, and I
Yeah,
just needed to be somewhere, and it was amazing, absolutely
it was.
amazing. So what did you take? What did you take away from that as you moved off into what you did? What did you walk away with? MIC Foley, I guess it's the run. I don't know what it's doing, but what did you leave with?
Yeah, I think the first big thing that I left with was I can do hard things. Like
Mm,
I think a lot of times we are not aware of what we're capable of. And the how our bodies are really capable of doing some crazy extreme things. And a lot of times people think, running into a burning building or jumping off a cliff or stuff like that. Yeah, that's great. But like emotionally and stretching and being refined and being able to like, hey, you had an hour to do this presentation and now that got cut down to 10 minutes and there's a fire drill and there are no booklets, but you have to deliver the entire presentation and you got to get the feedback forms and they better all be like above a certain number. And it's like,
mm,
what? Like, no
mm-hmm,
one can do that. And you make it work. Like you figure it out. It was the biggest thing was, just that like that phrase that says, if you want to ensure success on the island, burn the boat. And it's like
mm.
you were constantly walking into a situation where the boat was burned. Like you didn't even burn it. You got there and the boat was on fire.
It's on
The
fire. You
boat was
walk
on
in,
fire.
right?
The boat was on fire. So I'm gonna need you to get off the boat. And so it really upped my game and it really challenged me. And then that was everywhere in my life. It wasn't just with speaking. It was showing me that, man, if I put my heart to it, like there really isn't anything impossible. It'll be hard and it will suck, but it's
Mm-hmm,
not impossible. And
mm,
that's one of those phenomenal lessons that I carry with me now, being a mother as an older person, being a new-ish mom, you know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm.
where everybody my age, their kids are going to college, and I'm like, I just got my youngest two out of diapers. Like, so wait, I don't get. Can I have? We just got them all out of our bed. They're actually sleeping in their own bed now. It's a big deal, and just who I am to them and being very aware of who I want to be and the example that I want to set for them now so that they don't deal with a lot of the things that I had to deal with growing up and a lot of
Mm-hmm,
the things that I had to deal with in my professional life. I came into engineering and my first job was in Savannah, Georgia in the 90s. And
mm-hmm.
I mean, you talk about at that time, they were still fighting the Civil War. And so they had
Right.
never seen someone my color who was Hispanic. And for me to be the foreman on the job. So I'm walking onto these jobs. We're doing demolition and construction, and they're like, great, the secretary's here. If you could just grab us. And I'm like, oh, no, pumpkin. I'm your boss. Like, I'm not. I'm the foreman. Hate to break, and just dealing with that and that being so hard. And then you get pushed into the situation with making it count. And it is like constantly like that refining fire, refining fire,
Mm-hmm,
refining fire. But it wasn't the type that you go in. There are, I think, some particular situations where you're going into that fire and that fire is just there to torture and break you. And there are other situations where you go and that fire is to refine you. And
mm,
this was definitely when you feel that difference where yes, it was hell week, but you knew that if you went through it, you were going to be better on the other side. So being able, when I walked away, I was able to see that I am capable of doing things that I never thought I could do. The impossible is really not that impossible. And also knowing the difference between being beat up for the sake of being beat up and being set on fire to be refined, so that all of that dross is gone.
Well,
And
don't. Okay, pause. You're preaching. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Go back to that statement.
yes,
The difference between being lit on fire and being on fire to be refined. You burn
yes,
versus fire. Run that back
yeah,
again, Michelle.
yeah, yes. There is a difference with being set on fire to be burnt and being in the refiner's fire. There's a difference between the fire that destroys and the fire that refines. I'll give you an example. When I was working demolition and construction, it was very difficult for me to find a job because I was fresh out of college. The college that I had was very much, the one that I went to was very much book-based, textbook, everything. So there wasn't much practical stuff because the concept was pretty much like, you do this, then you get a job, and that's where you work in your experience. Well, when you have a degree like engineering, you can't get a job without experience, and you can't get experience without a job. They're like, I can't hire you when you mess something up. Like, this is engineering. You screw up, people could die. No pressure. So it's like, well, how am I going to get that? So I ended up working for a company that shall remain nameless, but it was the only place that I could find a job. And it was, yes, in demolition and construction, but it was the only place that would hire me as a female, except the fact that I had a degree in engineering, give me some respect with, with regards to my level of intelligence, and not just have me in the office as eye candy. Because I went to other places and they're like, well, you can start off as a secretary, you can start off as doing this, and then maybe we'll put you on a job. Nah, bro, like, I speak English now and I have a degree, and you're gonna put me, I work my behind off, and I'm $30,000 in debt with student loans, so I need a job,
Mm-hmm.
And the job was like, I was there because no one else gave me a job. And I knew that I wanted to do this and even put my hand on it. But my paycheck bounced 3 times. And I was left in very unsafe situations. I remember I was left on a job site that was an hour and a half away from my house with 0 transportation. And it was me and 5 other male individuals who didn't speak English. That's why they put me on the job, because I was the only one who spoke Spanish. 5 other males that I didn't know from a bowl of spit, on an isolated job. We were literally on a military base, but it was out in the boonies because it's where they did fired the jets and the jet fighters, where they did the training and the practices. So you got to be in the middle, because that's really loud, and you got to be in the middle of nowhere. So I was left, I'm like, anything could happen to me, and they could bury my body and no one will know. And so put in these unsafe situations and feeling like I didn't have a voice to speak up because I needed a job. And I'm like, just, bide your time and do what you need to do and get this done so that you can, get in there. And it was just, and then it just got harder and harder and harder. It wasn't ever good enough. It wasn't like the better I did, the harder they gave me things, because it was like, oh, great. The concept of being a boss was, I get to do less because now I found somebody who's going to do more, and who's committed to excellence, and who's going to do things with integrity, so I can just continue to heap things on you, but I'm not going to pay you anymore. And I'm barely going to pay you because I told you my paycheck bounced 3 times. So every time it was payday, it was a rush to go get to the bank and get money out before like there was nothing left, versus going into making it count. And you are surrounded by people who want to be their best. And no, I'm not, you get there Thursday and you don't leave till Sunday, and you don't sleep because you're up, and there is a script that you have to follow, but you also are challenged with taking material that you haven't written and presenting it authentically as though you passionately wrote this, memorizing multiple scripts at once, being able to adjust to the audience, understanding like what am I supposed to be doing with my body? How long am I supposed to be carrying, keeping eye contact with this person before I move to this person? What is my stance? Covering my accent, because as I remember one of the trainings you and I were in, you were like, one of the first trainings, it's like day 3, and you're like, who are you? Because you didn't sound like that when we first got here. And I'm like, this is what I sound like when I'm tired. You're like, when did Rosie Perez come in the room?
Right. I was like, whoa.
And I'm like, this is what I sound like when I'm not trying to fake an American. This is what I sound like. But it was, and it was hard and it sucked and you cried, but you knew that it was pushing you to excellence, because when you stood in front of those students, you were going to be the only one delivering the message that you gave, and that you were going to be the difference between someone continuing to pursue their passions or giving up completely. Your voice was going to be the voice that they were hearing when they hit that crossroad, when they hit that fork to decide which path that they were going to go on. And you knew that they were being hard, because it's like, there is a message that we are giving and there is a purpose that we are doing this. And if you're not going to come correct and you're not going to come with your A game, we don't want anything to do with you. There's a difference between being pushed to be your best because people are counting on you to walk in your purpose and walk in excellence, and being pushed to be abused, to have your gifts exploited, to have your talents and your intellectual property raped for the benefit of the people above you.
My. Listen, you on one. Let's go for it. Preach. And you're
I'm
100%.
trying to lock it down.
Let him use you. So it's just kind of like, you're just 100% on that. And I think that was part of it, because the message, the unintended consequence was we got better.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily come there to become better speakers. We came there because we wanted to speak, and this opportunity to speak, fell in love with the message, happened to get paid for it, but we also got better because of the work that was every 6 months. Every 6 months. 1 script, 4 scripts, 5 scripts, and you had them have them smoked and ready to go. And then there was the side programs that you had to elevate to. I wanted to do the college and career one with all that kind of good stuff. So these things, and then you had to learn yours in Spanish. Like, I think you was like the only Spanish speaker in the whole company. Like, you were working double duty.
There were 3. There were 3. We finally, by the end, before everything got shut down, I was actually leading Spanish trainings. And so we had a couple people do that. But yeah, like, I had to learn every single one of the scripts, and 2 of them in Spanish, which was a challenge on top of all of that. Cause I'm like, I'm Puerto Rican. Like, we make up words. We're very conversational. Like, it's not the King's Spanish. And to learn financial terms, you can't be hood giving financial presentations to parents in Spanish. Like, you have to be able to, like, sound like you know what you're talking about. So yeah, definitely stretched in ways I didn't expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, but out of that, though, like you said, the refining that took place allowed us to do things that most people didn't want to do. We were the ones who ran to the stage, to the light. And when I'm talking about it, and I refer to this time because it was a pivotal moment. It was fond memories, great work, but it was pivotal. I recognize it as the training situations that made me who I am to this day. And the way I coach my clients, the way I deal on stage, the way I'm able to adjust and move, you pretty much going to move me off of much anything. You can't surprise me too much. I mean, I've been tethered to a wall trying to talk to somebody. It was 400 kids on that. Can you hear me? I've done stuff outside. I've spoken to other corporations outside under tree and all that kind of stuff. But when you get on stage and you deliver, people go, oh, that's amazing. And like with anything, no one truly knows what you had to do to get to that moment.
Right.
And nor should you take it for granted that you did those things to get to that moment. And that's part of it, right? That's the journey of getting off the bench. That's the journey of being better than yesterday. That's the journey of the you versus you battle. These are the things we talk about to do it, and it flows over into our life, especially in the community and what you're doing now to to help raise awareness. So
Mhm.
let's transition a little bit more into, we talked about your background, whatever. Let's talk about the wellness journey that you started on, I guess from your major surgery forward, or was it something realistic because you had babies so late and you need more energy to keep the kids because they're gonna run you around? Because look, you sound like LeBron at the beginning of this. I had not one, not two, not three, not four. I was like, how many kids did you have? I lost track after
Ooh,
three. I mean, how many you got?
my God.
Five? You have
I have
five?
four. I have
Okay.
four. I have four. Yeah, I have. Look, I don't even know if you can see my babies, but I have. These are. Can you see? These are my babies. These are my babies right here.
That is so
So
cute.
I got two girls and two. I got two girls and two boys. I have, like I said, a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and 5-year-old twins. And I remember it being a moment. Like what my husband and I had agreed, like I'm from the projects in New York City, single parent homes. English was my second language, like pretty much every stereotype there is. And I was a latchkey kid. I was taking 4 buses to school, 4 buses home, things like that. My husband grew up in like polar opposite. His parents are together, still married. His mom made him hot breakfast every morning till the day he moved out and got a job at 26 years old, like the cleavers, like just all of that. And so because he had experienced his mom always being there, like his mom, her job was to raise them, very traditional Hispanic. My desire to have and to be that mom that was there for my kids stemmed from not experiencing them. My mom was a single mom with 3 kids. She had to work, in New York. She had to work. And she didn't want to put us in public school in New York because she came up through the public school system. And where we were, it wasn't always the best schools. And so she put us in Catholic school. So 3 kids in Catholic school with 1 income in New York, like, come on, man, you got to start a meth lab in your basement or something. Like,
Right.
So we had this understanding that once we started having kids, I was going to stay home with them. And that was very much a desire of my heart. And I couldn't, by the time speaking was at its climax, I was traveling 30 days at a time. Like literally, I was gone for 30 days in multiple cities, like having those moments where you wake up and you're like, what city am I in? What hotel am I in? What presentation am I giving? What, you look in your bag, like I said before, you got like 5 different hotel keys, and it's like, which one is my room? Which one am I going? What kind of CD operation am I running? And so I remember having this defining moment as a mom. Like, here I am. I have a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and newborn twins. My husband was working outside the home, so I was very much a single mom of all of these babies. And I remember I had like that magical unicorn moment where everybody's asleep at the same time, which doesn't happen. And I'm laying in bed with all of these babies on top of me. And in a moment that should have been complete bliss, I felt utter despair. And I'm like, what is this heaviness in me? Like, this is the moment that I fought for, that I prayed for, that I wanted. And like I had said before, I realized in that moment that my entire existence was solely about what I brought to the table, what I was contributing as a mother, as a wife, as a milk truck, as a housekeeper, as a chef, all of those things. It was about what I did and not who I was. And so I needed to understand who I was. And so I had signed up for Spartan. Well, I realized my body wasn't exactly doing what it was supposed to be doing. And I was training as much as I could. And I had learned about the nutritional aspect of it a little bit. But then in this discovery, understanding that I have an autoimmune disease. And I have Hashimoto's, and it's with your thyroid. And let me tell you, your thyroid, that's something you don't want to mess with because it's everything. Your thyroid is so random. So it's like, oh, my hair's falling out, it's your thyroid. Or I'm having heart palpitations, it's your thyroid. Oh, my skin looks dull, it's your thyroid. Oh, my eyes are, it's your thyroid. Oh, I feel fatigue, it's your thyroid. Like, it can affect anything, and it presents so strangely. So it's one of those things that you're constantly finagling. as I started to press into my own health and realizing the things that I had grown up knowing, there's a lot of false health information out there, a lot of fake healthy stuff. You know, traditionally, being Latina, our lives are tied into our food. You mourn with food, you celebrate with food, you entertain with food, like everything. And we have very specific things. Well, as I began this journey, I started to understand and I started to realize that a lot of the foods that we were eating were things that were actually having adverse effects on our mood and on our health and on our blood pressure and our blood sugar and everything else. But they were so traditional. We didn't know anything else. And I started to dig a little deeper. And as I shifted what I was eating, I started to feel better. I had more clarity of thought. I had more zest for life. We call that like Ghana. I had Ghana. Like I had that oomph. I had that desire. I had audacity building up in me. I started to dream. And then being around people in the health and wellness industry is very close to or similar to being around motivational speakers. So now you are around people. If you are working with the right company, I will not make the blanket statement, not every company is the same, but working in the particular company that I was working in and being surrounded by people who just wanted to be better and wanted to do better and who understood that personal development was tied into nutrition, was tied into philanthropy and things like that. And I wanted to be there. I started to understand and my eyes were open. There was a wokeness that came over that wasn't there before. And really understanding that I had the opportunity to change my life and to change my narrative. And I wanted to give that to others. But then that uncovered something else in realizing that I had something that was going to change people's narrative and even save their life. But I was working in a community who I first had to convince that their life was worth saving. I was working in a community and teaching them about nutrition in a community whose palates had never before been exposed to the things that they were supposed to be eating. I was working in a community that essentially was reluctant to do anything healthy and was resistant to that because the messages they were getting was everything you're doing is wrong. Everything you're eating is wrong. And the only way to be better is to eat what we're eating. Again, a message from a dominant culture saying you're wrong, what you're doing is bad, and the only way it will be good is if you do it our way. And it's like, if you go back, the reason why we have the diet that we have is because that's the scraps we were left with when that same dominant culture took the best things for themselves and left us with, here, go make something out of this. And that we did because we're survivors. But now these very same things were causing the fatigue, were causing the struggles with mental illness, were causing the difficulty in our gut, realizing that 80% of your personality, of your mental keenness, of your desire, your ideas and stuff reside in your gut. And so we're ingesting things that are essentially destroying our gut. And yet we're called upon to do the very same things that someone who is of sound body is doing. And yes, it seems like, well, it's, you know, if you don't take a step back, then there are certain stereotypes that fall on communities of color. But when I took a step back, I started to realize how much of that was actually tied into nutrition. And I'm like, wait a minute, if I change the nutrition, I can change the game. I can change the narrative. I now have, just by changing, making tiny little shifts here and there and teaching people how to fully embrace who they are, fully be who they are, but also make the swaps that they need that are actually going to serve them. That's going to lead to more energy. That's going to lead to clarity of thought. That's going to lead to ideas. That's going to lead to audacity. And then there's nothing stopping us when you have that. And I'm like, no, I can't sit on this. I can't sit on this. And so this is the last thing I ever thought I would be doing, truth be told, the last thing. But when I saw that, it really just ties into how I am hardwired. And it's just my passion to inspire others to be the best version of themselves, whatever that means for them.
Mm-hmm.
Inspire others to understand that there is greatness in them that nobody gave them and nobody can take away from them. That is solely what they choose to do with. And how do they discover that? And then what do they do with it? How do they figure out what they're good at, what they're passionate about, and then turn that into making somebody pay them to do
Man.
it?
So the question is this something you're passionate about, or just kind of something that you kick
I
it
mean,
with?
it's something I'm dabbling in. Who
You're a little
knows?
excited about just a wee bit
Yeah.
excited
Yeah.
about it, a wee bit passionate about it. But the reality is that you spit nothing but true facts. I mean, again, in our cultures, like you said, we took the scraps and made them into delicacies that they're now paying thousands of dollars for, and we can't afford to eat our own. My mom on the line. I can't really say what I want to say, but you get what I'm saying. All of a sudden, the
Yes,
stuff that was
sir.
left us,
Yes, sir.
now they want to charge us. We can't afford the stuff they used to give us was the scraps. That's what's happening. But you're right when it comes to our communities and it comes to health and nutrition and changing the narrative. I've been taking a little. You've said narrative at least 62 times,
Yes.
and narrative is what needs to be changed, which basically changing mindsets, right? We're changing viewpoints and
Yes.
whatever, so we can have a story that's different than what's been given to us, or
Yes.
we're not defined by our past. You know what I'm saying? Our past helps shape us, but it doesn't define us if
Yeah.
if my word of the year, you are willing to change
Yes.
it. If you're not willing to do anything about it, then you're going to be part of the thing that you
Yeah.
are.
If
in the past.
nothing
So,
changes, nothing changes. Yep.
nothing changes, right? It's part of the willingness piece. So people are rocking in and checking in. I love it. Thanks for everybody joining in over there. Rob Robinson, what's up, sir? I see you out there. Tina Sunshine, Rick Watts, what's up, Fry? Chuck Johnson, Bobby Harvey. Bobby Harvey was my one of my deans when I was online. We call him Fossil Noob. He may be about 95 right now. I'm not sure. What's up, Coach Odin? I see you out there. Crystal Wiggins. Hey, mama. My mama's on. I told you my mama's on here, so I couldn't say what I want to say. Right. And my cousin Adrian, what's up, Grant? And Michael Clinton, what's happening? Thank y'all for joining in. Make sure you share this out to your network and let everybody know we got some good conversation going on here. So now we're talking about this narrative thing. So what is it about narrative that we need to change, and how can we change it, Michelle? How do we change this narrative or change the story that we're scripting and writing? So how do we change it?
Well, for me, the whole narrative thing, like it's near and dear to my heart because I'm also a writer. You know, I have a book that I published called Letters to You, My Friend, and it is just insights and things, experiences that I've had, and it's written as personal letters from me to you. And it's kind of like a non-committal devotional, but not like super hyper spiritual or anything. You know, because you have those devotionals that go like every single day, and it's like if I miss a few days, then I'm like,
you're going to hell. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
you miss it, you're going to hell. That's what's happening. You gotta start over. You gotta start over.
So it really is just kind of like non-committal, and it's for people that are like, you know, full blown. Like, you know, when I say I love Jesus, I'm talking about like I love Jesus. He's the lover of my soul, but even my savior. But he's my homie. Like we got secrets, like that kind of thing. Like Jesus is my ride or die. Right. But there are people literally who have requested and read my book that are atheists, that are Buddhists, that are trying to find their way in life, and they're like, this is just phenomenal. So it's not that kind of book to where, and nothing against that, but just because I truly am edified by things like that. But I wanted to do something that was for everybody, and that everybody could kind of relate to, and it didn't feel like it locked people into a certain thing. But because of that, and there are other books that I'm finishing up now to publish, so that concept of narrative is close to my heart because of that, because of being a writer, writing blogs and writing, journaling all the time. And I started to realize, like, I didn't know what my story was as it originated from who I was. My story was what was written by others, what people told me, I was, who people told me I was. Michelle, you're this. You know, I remember I have a therapist now, so I can't stand myself. She's amazing. She's phenomenal. Like processing through a lot of trauma. She's Latina. She's from the city. She's from, you know, like, which is like, if you are thinking about pursuing a degree in psychology or counseling, please, and you are a person of color, like everybody, yes, but if you're a person of color, please do it, because this can be like, we need this, and we need to see faces that look like ours and voices that sound like ours and everything else. So just quick plug for that. Like if you are on the fence and you needed a sign, here it is. But as we've been processing, I just realized, like, you know, things that were told to me, it was always, you know, we were exploring some things, and I'm like, she's like, well, why don't you feel like you're worthy of things? Like, why don't you feel like, and I'm like, you know, or the concept of being attractive or anything. I said, because I'm the smart one. And she's like, what? And I said, I'm not the pretty one, I'm the smart one. And she's like, but Michelle, I was like, no, like, I mean, I could clean up good now. I take a shower and stuff like that. I know how to apply some spackle and stuff, but strategically, I could clean, I could blend in with the humans. But I'm like, that was always like, no, Michelle, you can't. No, Michelle, you can't, because no, Michelle, you can't. Then that started to bleed into other things. I remember when I was in high school and I was trying to decide what I wanted to study, and I wanted to study journalism and art. And it was like, no, you can't do that, because you don't go to college to discover yourself. You go to college so you could get a good job, so you could pay your bills. So I went into engineering because I'm like, well, that's going to get me a really good job and that's going to pay money. Great. But it wasn't anything that I was passionate about. But it was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. This is what you do it for. This is what you do that for. And what we don't realize, and I'm not saying people have malicious intent necessarily, because I recognize that in myself as a parent. When I look at my child and I feel like that's not going to pan out, I want to rescue them. I want to save them. I want to help them, especially there. I feel like there are so many extra rules and regulations and exceptions and navigations that we have to do as being a part of a community of color. By the sheer amount of melanin that is in your skin, there are extra decisions and accounts that you need to, you know, things that you need to take into account that isn't always, that does not apply to everybody. But I realized with that little by little, when you start to, those things that are told to you that you begin to accept as part of your hardwired identity, as you convince yourself of that, you no longer have that voice and you no longer have that pen. And you begin to make these decisions based on who somebody else, who may not even know you from a bowl of spit, telling you who you are. Like, I remember going to college, and I went to a predominantly white college, and, you know, them saying, well, no, because you're Black, Michelle. And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, well, yeah, you are. And I'm like, I'm not. None against Black people. I think they're cool. I have really great Black friends, but I'm Puerto Rican. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, I'm Hispanic. But why are you so dark? I was like, well, when I was in heaven and I was going through the catalog where we get to choose our features, I said, I really want to confuse people and really make them angry with me. So if you could just get me, you know, like, leave me in the oven a little longer. And if you could make me not look like any of the girls from West Side Story, that would be great. And if you could, like, they're like, well, we don't get that opportunity. I'm like, right, I don't know. But I remember even being in high school and having a group of girls getting ready to jump me because they're like, you need to say that you're Black. And I'm like, I'm not. Like, I respect and I honor different people's cultures. And I'm like, that is a separate culture from mine. Do you want to know what I know about Black culture? I know what I've learned from my friends. I know what I've learned from being in relationship with them. But in my house growing up, we're the first generation here in the United States. Spanish was my first language. I didn't learn English till I was like 4 or 5. And that was because I had to go to school early and it was full immersion. And so that whole narrative thing is about understanding, one, that you have a story to tell. 2, that you're the only one that can tell it, and that's by design. And 3, that you actually have the authority to take the pen out of someone else's hand and say, this is who I am. You do not tell me who I am. You do not write my story. You do not tell me what is possible for me. It's like the Paralympics. Look at every single athlete in the Paralympics. I love the Olympics, but the Paralympics, I feel like, to me, in my humble, insignificant opinion, Paralympics those athletes are way better than the traditional Olympics, because there are more obstacles that they've had to overcome, and the things that they're doing are even more impossible. But they're doing it because they refused to listen to someone else saying, you cannot. You're blind. You can't climb Mount Everest. You have no legs. You can't be an Olympic gold medalist in track and field. Like, you can't do this. And so that's really what it's about. I think it's just that awakening. It's like that whole Matrix moment where you take the pill and you realize, oh, hold up. No, I can change this. Wait, I can change this. I can change this. And it's like, why didn't you ever do it before? Well, because I was told I couldn't. You never know what you can't do until somebody else tells you.
Yep. Are you done? You just running it. You gone?
Because I feel like you talk, like I can speak. I can keep going, but
no doubt. This is how I used to go and train. I just sit there and listen. And she going again. But no, it's solid. I mean, that's the narrative piece. It is about, like you said, it is about the authority. And I love the way you drop that in there, because it is like the book I wrote, Permission to Succeed. The only person who can give it to you is you. You can't give it to me. You can't give it to me. It's something I have to choose to do. And I have to be, wait for it, willing to do it. That's my word of the year. Get used to it. So, but until people start seeing people who are taking those steps and going back into communities like we do and go and stand on stage and tell them, yes, you can, yes, you can, yes, you can. That's the only way that things are going to change. But then again, the choices still have to be made.
And that's the
thing. Is scary.
I think the reality of it is, just because you have the authority to do something doesn't mean that you have the know-how to do it. Goes back to that script, desire and know-how. Desire and know-how. I'd slide that in there. But here's the thing, like, you could tell somebody you could drive a car. Like, if you, like, I want to learn how to drive a car. Okay, then you give yourself permission to learn how to drive a car. That, in the moment of giving yourself permission, that does not mean that you automatically know how to drive a car. You cannot get behind the wheel because you don't have the training, you don't have the experience, you don't have the know-how, you don't have any of that. And that is a scary thing, because when you take that authority, you also accept responsibility and accountability. And when you haven't been taught how to manage that, how to navigate that, because when there's accountability and there's that responsibility, then you have now opened yourself up to criticism, to critique, to other people's opinions. It may be oppressive to be covered under somebody who is like, telling you who you are, and like, this is who you are, and you may disagree with that, but there's a layer of protection that a lot of times we don't want to acknowledge. We may hate it, we may see, but built into oppression is a bit of protection, because only that person who's abusing or who's telling you is the one that is speaking into that. When that cover is taken off, you are now exposed to everyone else, and opinions are like nostrils. Everybody's got at least two. And so you now are opening yourself up to that and exposing the fact that now I have the authority to do it, but I don't know how. I have the authority to take care of my finances, but I don't know how. I have the authority to take control of my health, but I don't know how. I have the authority to travel, but I don't know how. And because we are not, certain communities, certain demographics are not always given accessibility to the resources to educate. They have the authority to do things, but they are ignorant in that. They don't have the know-how. And that is a destructive situation. And that's where that piece comes in of it is not so much, yes, the first step is informing people that they have the authority, but what must immediately follow is the education. Because if they have the authority with no education, then they are ticking time bombs. That is a reckless situation. And all of that's going to set you up for is perpetuating and proving every single stereotype, every single barbaric, savage stereotype that is out there. It's perpetuated, it's amplified, it's emphasized, because what it is, what the reality of it is what you're seeing is authority without education. And so those things, they must go hand in hand.
I 100%, because that's usually where the once the enthusiasm wears out, the go get them wears out, what you fall back on is knowledge of how to redo it, how to do it again, or go do it one more again. And if you don't have that, then it just goes away. It's like, well, I didn't know. And like you said, you go back to the stereotype. Well, I probably shouldn't have done it anyway. They said I was never going to amount to stuff, and they are right. And they are not right. You've just not been able to get the education behind it. So with that being said, I know that you are talk to me about the specific health program we're in. We're going to move into the last piece of this tonight, about what we're going to be doing in April, what you've been doing. So tell us about specifically what you got going on.
So one of the things that I do, because you have to, it's not just about talking about it, you got to be about it. You got to show up. And one of the things that I do with my particular company, I have a health and wellness franchise, and it is all vegan products, but it is not a vegan program. So let me just say that the nutritional aspect is one portion of it, but one of the things that we do, only one of the programs that we run with respect to providing the education to make the transition, is we do a 30-day healthy living reset. And it is through Arbonne. Arbonne is a phenomenal company. We've been around about 40 years. We just had our 41st birthday. So we're not new to the game. We were vegan before vegan was cool. Like, we were with the awkward kid that now all of a sudden everybody's deciding is the cool kid. And so we have over 400 products. I'm talking about skincare, hair care, everything else. So one tiny facet of it is nutrition, because you're changing all of these other things that you're putting on your skin and you're putting in your hair that's getting absorbed into your bloodstream in 26 seconds or less. All of that toxicity is what's messing with your brain function, and messing with your cognition, with your memory, with your energy levels. But then on the inside, nutritionally, like I said before, 80% of your everything, your personality, your mannerisms, your fighting diseases and sicknesses and everything starts in your gut. It starts there. There's a reason why, even when you go into the word, it's talking about, like, from my bowels. Like, it's talking about, because that's where, that's like deep from your bowels, because that's where it starts. That really is where it starts. That's like insight. So what we do with people for 30 days is we take you by the hand and we just walk you through. The first time that I went through the program about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm like, I want to be healthy, but there is so much out there. I don't know where to start. Like, I don't know what's really healthy. And really my only goal was to walk into Whole Foods and kind of know what I was doing, and not have the people that are like the Whole Foods snobs, like, be stank with me and be like, move, black girl, like, out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to be go in there and be like, up and down the aisles and know what I was grabbing. There was, again, that whole world is intimidating. And when all you know is shutting down, you just shut down. So it's developing that, giving that power, that authority, that know-how to go in and be like, oh, I know what this is. So what we do, specifically what we started in the month of February, is in response to the pandemic and acknowledging just a lot of the residual spin-offs of stress. Stress took its toll on all of us. I know me personally, we had horrific trauma happen during the pandemic. It's been about 3 years now of us. We had, death upon death upon death. At one point, we had 12 deaths in 10 months. And All of us got COVID and I almost died. My oxygen level dropped down to 82%. I was refused treatment. I was told in the hospital, this treatment is not for people like you. And I was like, am I just going to sit here and die? And literally this response was shoulder shrug and walk out. And I'm like, I got babies at home. You don't tell a Puerto Rican from the Bronx that I'm going to die. I'm going to set fire to this whole place. And so what we do in response to all of that, because that is a portion, that stress will take its toll on your body physically. Just as a kind of little side note, when you are stressed, just one aspect of it, when you are stressed, that actually lowers the acidity in your stomach. Our stomachs need to be super acidic. Think of it as the difference between a Ninja blender and like a Osterizer from like 1946. Like it'll work, but it doesn't work as well. You want that stomach to be acidic because that's where you get your nutrient stuff is broken down. It's absorbed into your bloodstream, everything else. A lot of the ailments that we are experiencing are simply because our body is not absorbing the nutrients. So it doesn't matter if you're stressed and your stomach levels are off. It doesn't matter if you're eating salads all day or if you're eating Twinkies all day. You're going to have the same result. It doesn't matter what you're eating. It's about what your body does with what you're eating. So what we do is over 30 days and a combination of nutrition. We have like a whole, what we call a fit kit, and that gives you everything that you need. I don't know if you want to do an unboxing, but we can talk about that. But we have a fit kit, and that is what you need for just 30 days. Well, it's a little more than that, but we say 30 days. And it helps your body. Like we measure everything out. We give you the nutrients. It gives your digestive system a break. And it helps you on a physical aspect to be able to clean out your system, to be able to naturally reset everything. In addition to that, though, we give you tons of education that's not overwhelming in a way that is palpable and digestible, and explaining to you why these swaps need to be made. Like you don't have to give up who you are and give up your culture, but there are certain things that you can swap out that don't sabotage your body. Here's the effect that these things are having on your body. Here's a better way to do it and still hold on to that identity piece. We, for our 30-day reset, me particularly, this is not a big Arbonne thing, but me particularly, because of my passion, we take people by the hand and we offer free yoga classes. We offer free life coaching classes. We offer comfort food. We give you recipes to try, comfort food recipes. And I'm talking about Latin foods, pastas, soul foods, sweets and treats, celebration things. You know, it is not about eating twigs and berries and lawn clippings. This is about eating like chicken Alfredo and burgers and chocolate cake and cookies and all of these things, but ways that you can enjoy it and it doesn't sabotage you. So it's super fun. It's amazing. We are actually getting ready to kick off in April our next round of that. And so anybody that's interested in joining us in April, we actually have some freebies on the table if they sign up before Friday.
All right. So as Michelle has said, I mean, amen, right? But you put that out there. So part of what we're talking about tonight is that one of the things I like to do, I'm down for the business. I'm usually going to try something to figure out what it was. I've done Whole30. I got, Instapot, Crockpot, Instapot back in the kitchen back during early pandemic, game changer. So because Michelle is rocking with the magazine and contributing, because she's got all this great material, I don't know why I don't have her book in the magazine, our author's corner. I'm sure I'll have it for next month. But right now, she has all the stuff going on. Anyway, so what we've done is I'm going to be ambassadorish on this. I'm going to do the 30-day reset with your product, right? That's what we're going to do. Mark is doing it, and I guess we're going to talk about it. I don't like to post every day. It's something about me every day. Sometimes I get tired of me every day. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to put this up here every single day. Look at me now, shake, shake, shake. But that's what you're doing. TikTok.
No.
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that thing because it's not effective.
No, you do not have to do that. I want it's authentic. It's real life. This is not like, oh, you're going to do this for 30 days and you're going to like feel amazing. And then you're going to stop and it's going to be crap, but you're going to feel like crap. The point of the 30 days is to help your body reset so that you learn how to adjust to regular life. Like what You figure out what's affecting you, adversely affecting your body, and what isn't, what things you like, what things you don't like. And so it is not built for you to be dependent upon these products for the rest of your life. And if you get off of them, you're going to blow up. It's nothing like that. It is literally just giving yourself 30 days to kind of do some nutritional rebalancing, get things, because a lot of times when you have toxicity in your body, what happens is our bodies were built to survive. Your body wraps fat around those toxins because it doesn't know how to break it down. And so, and then it wraps fat and it stores it, wraps fat and then it stores it. So what this program essentially does is it helps you to eliminate those toxins. And it's not one of those things you're going to be pooping for 30 days. Like, you know, I mean, that's elimination is part of the process. However, it's not something that you're like, I got to take the next 30 days after work.
I can't take this for our road trip and take this. I'm going to have to wait.
No, nothing like that. It's super gentle. It's delicious. It's fun.
So, Michelle, look, I got my box like right here. So I'm going to run through this product right quick just to see what I got, because I don't know what it is. I just open the box.
Pull it out and I'll talk about it.
Because I don't want to open it live because I would probably knock everything off this table. So I got it open. So let me dig in. So first off, I got this big satchel of this is the Feel Fit pea protein shake banana pancake flavor. What's this?
Okay. That is the anchor of the program. So part of it is, yes, meal replacement shakes, but you can choose to do one or two. They are complete amino acids, which help you build muscle when you're working out, things like that. The protein is from peas, cranberries, and brown rice. So it's vegan protein. There's no soy, there's no whey, there's no gluten. It's kosher and halal certified. You know how hard it is to please Israel and Ishmael? Like, we got them both.
All right, let's go on here. Let's go, sis.
We got them both. So that one bag is 30
I got
meals.
chocolate and I got pancake.
You got two of them, yeah. So one bag is 30 meals. You shake it up. You could do something. You could use water. You could use non-dairy milk. You could throw in like healthy fats, nuts, whatever. So super simple. You can make smoothie bowls with it. You can bake with it. I make muffins and cakes all the time. My kids don't know it's healthy. So you get 2 bags of that.
Okay, we got the gut health prebiotic
fiber. Yes.
Fiber is
important because we do not get enough fiber in our diets. Fiber is a sticky web. It grabs onto toxins. It doesn't make you go. It makes your go more effective. So you need that fiber to get in your system.
I'm gonna read again, just like all the animation that you give your descriptors. All right, so let's go. Next up, I got some energy Fizz. This is the Fizz. Ooh, what is this?
That's crack in a box. That is
crack in a box.
So that is, if you are like addicted to caffeine and coffee and things like that, these are the great replacements for it. I'm Puerto Rican. We had coffee in our bottles. Drank 6-7 cups of coffee all day, morning to night. I can drink coffee and go straight to sleep. So this is natural caffeine, like from ginseng and guarana, CoQ10, methylated B vitamins. So it gives you that natural energy. It does not make you feel like you had a 5-hour energy shot or anything like that, jittery. It makes you feel like you woke up from a really good nap. Like, I don't know about you, I get real stank. Like when I'm tired, when I'm hungry, stuff like that. It takes the stank off. So now you're like, oh. I
stopped reading after ginseng. I don't know what else it does. I just read ginseng. Okay, it was good.
So you throw it in your water bottle, you shake it up, you drink it, you're good to go. You can have like 4 or 5.
I got a clean tox herbal detox tea.
Yes, this is super important because it supports your elimination organs, liver, kidney, pancreas. I have people that are on this that are dealing with kidney stones and things like that. It helps to break that down, helps to flush it through your system. So super, super important as far as flushing that through. If your body isn't able to clean itself out, that's what's holding on to the excess weight, the excess stuff.
All right, just make fizzle my shizzle right there.
Yes, milk thistle is also good for your liver, especially.
I feel like I'm gonna be drinking and peeing a whole lot. Talk about some.
No. I mean, you're gonna pee.
That's seafood greens. What's this? We got greens.
Woo!
This is my mama's greens. My mama's greens are good. Is it like my mama's greens? If it's not, I'm not gonna deal with it.
So I mean, it's got your mama's greens in it. It is one tiny scoop of that gives you 36 servings of fruits and vegetables, the entire rainbow. So this is super good because we are not getting what we need. You throw that in. I'll show you how to make a green cocktail that's got all of those things in it, and you drink it in the morning, and you're good to go.
All right, Hail Hydra. What's this Biohydra? What's that?
Oh, that's a free thing that they gave you. That's free extra stuff. So that is
What's my eye
actually that
gel?
goes. Yes. So that's for here that
Oh,
goes around.
right,
You
right,
can
right.
put, and it's good for hydrating and everything. So that's
Hail,
they like Armand likes to throw in freebies in
Hail,
boxes just
Hail
like
Hydra from GI
Hail
Joe.
Hydra.
Okay.
Hail Hydra.
Some more energy fizz. I got 2 of those.
Yes,
Okay.
2 boxes of energy fizz, 2 boxes of protein.
So
Yeah.
so the fizz, I just drink those once a day, right? That's like I don't need to do that like now at 11 o'clock. I don't need to do that.
If you're sensitive to caffeine, I would say no. But you can drink those once, I think up to 4 times a day.
Oh
I
Lord,
heard of
Mind Health Focus Superfood.
Yes, that is very, very good for memory, concentration, focus. I'm going to show you how to use most of your products first thing in the morning. Get that in a drink. So that is really good to have. That doesn't come as part of the regular fit kit. That's an add-on that you could put in there.
Okay, so gut health, digestive micro. We did this
Yes,
one already.
that is one of the most important things we have. Remember, I was telling you the 80% in your gut, the microbiome, your gut flora. That is our prebiotic, probiotic, digestive enzyme. Here's why you need all 3. Probiotics so that the soldiers that fight off sickness, disease, funness like that. Prebiotic is the things that feed them. Tons of people are taking all these probiotics, but they're dying off because they're not eating what they need. So the prebiotic feeds the probiotics so they could do it. The digestive enzyme helps your body to break down the food that you're getting to get the nutrients. Again, if you're eating a bunch of salad and your body isn't breaking it down, you might as well just be eating Twinkies. So the digestive enzyme helps to break down your food, extract the nutrients. That's why you start feeling better, because you're doing what you need with the food that you're eating.
And look, somebody just patched in. It's Ron Sullivan out of New York. Hey, what's up, Ron Sullivan? Giant. That dude's a gangster. What's up, Ron? What's going on? You come on and join and get your gut cleaned out. I got stuff teeth for days over here. So I got a gentle cleanse.
So that is in week 3 that you actually do that. That gentle cleanse. We hold on to anywhere from 15 to 25 pounds of waste in our small intestine. That is just retoxifying our system. So after week 3, you've given your body a break. That helps to gently eliminate some of that extra stuff that you're holding on to the sides. It is not that you're going to drink that and be in the bathroom the whole time. It doesn't make you go. It makes your go more effective.
That means I'm gonna be going a lot. Okay. All right. So I got some salve, skin elixir, some Alexa.
Skin elixir. That is amazing because we know black don't crack and brown don't break down. But this has good hyaluronic acid in it, CoQ10. It helps with your hair, skin, nails, building it in from the inside as well as the outside.
And I got my shaker, my bottle.
You got your shaker cup. Yep.
I can't see that. I feel like it's Christmas, but it's not. Okay. So there we go. I have 30 days of supplies to eat, drink, mix, be merry, add vodka to it, whatever. I mean, Tito's, because it's, and it's good vodka, and go from there. So I'm excited about it. So what I like about this, again, when Michelle brought it to me, was not that I've done other stuff. I got people. It was the education piece, what you talked about earlier. You give me all the tools, but damn it, you don't tell me how to use them effectively and correctly, then I might as well just go ahead and open up and shake it out right now. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Just not. If I don't think I know the benefit of using it while I'm using it and how it goes, then I'm going to lose energy. I'm not going to stay with it.
There's no point. You're not going to be well. Then you are literally just letting someone write your narrative again, even if it's
What's up, Denise?
Narrative.
What's going on? Hey, come on, get your gut clean. Come on, get in this 30-day cleanse reset program. I'm talking to people. Denise is in my magazine too.
Please do. Like we need to get this word out there. We need to start changing things. If nothing changes, nothing changes, and we got to get this piece in there.
So we're starting the first, which is an hour or so. So we're starting on the first, but we can start at any point and just go in 30 days. And what else do you offer? You said you got a Facebook group, or you Zooming me every day, or you send me text, or TikToking? What are we doing?
We have a free Facebook group that builds in a community, that builds in like people that are sharing real stories. This is like, I'm struggling today, I'm doing that. We do live check-ins on Tuesdays. We do free yoga on Tuesday nights and Wednesday afternoons. We do life coaching every Monday. We do Sabbath Sundays where we're teaching you how to bring down your stress levels. We do Foodie Fridays where we give you recipes for the week that you don't have to follow, just suggestions, helping you to know what do I do with this. It comes with a grocery list, and then it shows you how to do this. You can mix and match and get stuff. And then on Saturdays, we give you all sorts of comfort food stuff, like letting you know you can operate as a human being. We'll show you how to use every single one of those products. It looks like a lot in the box, but we give you what
No,
you
it
need
is a lot in the box. It doesn't look like it
yeah.
is a lot in the box. I got
But
42
here's the
pounds of
thing, you know
pee.
what?
I got
It
42
took a
pounds of
lot
pee
to
weight
get
gain
you.
right
Look,
here.
it took a lot to get you here. It's not going to change overnight. It's going to
Oh,
change
okay.
in about 30 days. But if anybody is like, oh my gosh, there is a 90-day money back guarantee on absolutely everything in there. So it's not like, I don't know, I ain't got it, and what if I don't like it? Return it. Like, it's, you got 90 days to return this. We're gonna start April 1st and go through the 30th. Like, that's how we run things. We just go from the beginning of the month to the end. But you can start when you want to. This is pre-week right now. So this pre-week, we're giving you tons of information, and something that
Right.
I'm offering special just to people that are watching this and tuning in and listening to the interview. They just got to mention it and they'll get an additional free gift.
So there it is. So Denise, I see you out there. You late? Yes, you are. And you come on, get in this and hit me up, hit Michelle up, and just say OTB told me to get off the bench. That is the passcode. OTB said get off the bench. So that's what we're gonna do. Come join me, Denise, and everybody out here. I know we got one person that said they're gonna.
Oh my gosh! And I forgot the best part.
What's
We
the
do
part? What's the part?
giveaways. We
Shut up.
throughout the whole process,
Shut
we
up.
gave about $1,000 worth of stuff in February. We're right up there in March. I like to walk in my inner Oprah. And so we just give away like tons and tons of product and free stuff, full size stuff, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, because right now people just need some extra loving. So just minimal commitment. Like if you're just showing up, if you're doing the thing, if you're commenting on something, all of that can earn you a prize up to $100
Shut
a piece.
up. Shut up. So
I shan't.
we'll definitely do it. All right. Well, good. So, Michelle, give a website, tell people where they can find more about your product. And again, if you're trying to come with me and OTB as we roll this for 30 days, hit me up in the inbox. I'll connect you with Michelle and she'll set it up and get ready to go. And just it gets started. Again, here's one of my favorite phrases. Begin where you are, starting over is not an option.
That's right.
What I said.
That's
Begin
right.
where you are. Starting over is not an option. It doesn't matter as long as we get there, right? We need to get there. So come on and join and let's do this doggone thing. Denise says, let's go. I'm with you, girl. Listen.
Let's do it.
Make it happen. So, all right, Michelle, last parting shots, because you've taken me over an hour and, I only paid for an hour, 20 minutes on this program. So it's going to shut down in 3. I'm kidding. So go ahead. Give me a 30-second hot take of what you want people to walk away from our conversation tonight, because you dropped a whole lot of gems and I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure to be here. One thing that, especially with respect to this, I want people to understand, like, you don't have to be in fear anymore. Like, you may be thinking about this and thinking about everything that we talked about, and it's like, what if I try that and if it doesn't work? Specifically this 30-day reset, or specifically trying something new, or specifically getting a subscription to the magazine, participating in these things, starting school. You may be thinking about, like, what if I try this? What if it doesn't work? And I want to leave you with, what if it does? What if it does? What if it does work? What if the decisions that you make, what if the power moves, what if something like a shake can actually change the trajectory of your life? You are worth discovering that. You are worth, you have the authority to change your narrative. You have the authority to get the education to do so. And you're worth it. You're worth it.
Awesome. I so much appreciate you coming on again. Longtime friend, great speaker, great heart, as you heard tonight. Again, this is worth the listen. Again, share it with, because the wisdom and drops. I mean, the Home and Home series, people are still talking about that. They're asking me, Mark, we didn't know that's because you never asked me. And I don't get around just talking about all of me. And you got out of me stuff I don't normally share unless I'm on stage or something. Someone pay me a couple thousand to talk about it. But it's not a secret. But as we get older, we got to share this wisdom. I can't take it with me. I can't take any of this with me. And we got to make sure we get everybody involved, healthy, wealthy, and wise, so they can ready to get off off this bench. So thank you, Michelle, for joining with us. And I'm gonna drop you out of the show because it's my show and I do what I want to do. But anyway, no. Again, thank you for joining Off the Bench tonight. I'm gonna be back again tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Last Wednesday of the month is King Conversation. I got something for you there as well. And I appreciate you, everybody who's joining tonight. And I'll leave you with this, as always. If you can reach your dreams with a step ladder, then they're probably too low. 30-day reset, baby. I'm on it. Let's get it. I'm out.